everybody, and welcome to another edition of Poland Daily Travel. Good evening, good to see you, and you're looking swell. With me in the studio is Nicholas Richardson. How are you this evening?
I'm fine, Will, thank you.
You doing well?
Yeah, always a pleasure to be here, chatting to you, talking about travel in Poland.
I understand before we came on the air, and I think this is an important subject before we get into more serious matters, because we are being a bit more serious on this episode and a few subsequent ones. You told me that one of your fan base has commented that you're not wearing ties.
Yeah, exactly.
And well, what can this mean?
Well, it means that I'm not wearing a tie.
Yeah, but I hope that you're not going to lose a fan because of that.
Not at all. No. This fan is very is a fan, of course.
Okay.
And she
but
likes.
They're not blaming me, I hope.
No. Well, I just said that, but I said you should see Will, and that seemed to.
Well, no, we could wear
settle
ties,
the debate.
but this is a travel show. You know,
No.
it's not. We're not in church.
I realise.
And
that.
it's not a board meeting.
I realise that.
Although I hope it's not a board BORED meeting.
But she's a
That would
fan
be
who often gives me ties, which I then wear on television. You see, so.
Ah, I know who it is.
You may
I
well
know
be.
who it is.
Well,
now.
yes, but please be be discreet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I know who it is. I hope that when she watches this episode, I'm going to say, "Boo sucks," to you. How about that? Okay. So when we left off last time, we've been talking in a few episodes about concentration camps as a tourist
destination,
because so many. It is the number one thing. I mean, Auschwitz is just something that everyone does when they come. Almost everyone does when they come to Poland. They go there. Okay. And we've said a number of things about it, but I wanted to. You haven't been there.
I haven't been there. No, you're going to tell us about your own experience.
I'll just recap. I went to Dachau. I made it a point to go to one of these camps, and that's in Munich. When I was a student, I said I need to go. I studied history. This is part of history. I knew I had written a paper about World War II, not that particular subject, and I was fascinated to try to be in the space, and see if you could recall some of that horror. And I tell you, it was a very odd and frightening place to be. The starkness of the surroundings, and if you have any imagination, empathy at all, and certainly you have historical facts behind you, then you can imagine what took place. You can begin to imagine what took place there, and it is sinister in the extreme. It doesn't get more sinister. And I did go eventually. I said to myself, I'm never going to another one. I've been there. I purposely did it, but I'm not going to be voyeuristic. I'm not going to go and do this. I'm not writing about it. I'm not studying it. There's plenty of material available, like films. The Shoah, for example, the famous film, long film about concentration camps, and then all the other myriad documentaries, testimonies. I mean, you have met people who were in the concentration camps.
Yes.
So have I. It's impossible not to, when you live in Poland for any appreciable amount of time. And some of those people are very well-known names. We could drop names here. And some of those people are people like us, just, normal people going about their lives with this memory. I went there to Auschwitz because I was asked, and really asked many times, to go with a South African colleague who is a film director. When he visited Poland, we were working on a project back then, and he visited Poland. And on the first visit, he said, "Well, I'd like to go to Auschwitz." I said, "Well, yeah, okay, I can help you to arrange that and get there, and with a tour, or get there and tell you, arrange a place for you to stay and all that in Krakow." And he said, "No, I don't want to go alone, and I don't know anyone else. I don't want to go alone. I don't know anyone else." I said, "Well, I don't want to go, man. I've been to one, and this is not what I want to do. Again, it's a very, very dark experience." But anyway, finally, I relented. Finally, I relented, and I did go with him, and the experience was profound on him and on me, and particularly seeing it through his eyes. He's Jewish, seeing it through his eyes, and knowing that he had had relations who were involved, victims, not involved, they were victims of the Holocaust. So I don't want to go into the different aspects of how you feel. I mean, I don't think this is the proper place for that. That requires a more serious, longer
Indeed.
document.
And did you visit both Auschwitz and Birkenau?
Documentary.
Did you visit both Auschwitz and...
I only went to Auschwitz.
You didn't go to Birkenau?
No, that's enough. That was enough for him.
Yes.
And it was certainly enough for me.
Yes.
And it starts with, I just can talk about the shoes, which is famous, and many people have talked about it. But you see all the shoes that are there that belong to living, breathing souls, and then it begins to hit home. Because there's something about possessions, I guess it's why we hand things down in our family.
Of course. No, we all get sentimentally attached to possessions.
Yeah.
And it was the sheer evil, wasn't it, of people being told to pack their suitcases before they put on these trains
Well, it makes you...
and label them and say they'll get them later. And of course, they didn't get their suitcases later because by the later part of the war, when they were deporting people, those suitcases were never seen again except in the warehouses where they were unpacked by other people to steal what they could. The SS guards stealing things from suitcases. I mean, there's the amount... It wasn't just that it was evil in itself and the intent was evil. It was the sheer evil of the people doing it. And, can you imagine peeking over the suitcase of somebody who you knew had just been marched around the corner and gassed?
No, of course not.
I mean, but they did it. And they,
Well,
it's
the same way that people...
Wholly corrupt and evil people in charge.
It's a similar thing to people going over a battlefield and picking, the pockets of the dead. But anyway, we haven't answered the question. We'll come back. We'll do one more episode on this, and we'll come back and we'll talk about whether or not it's justified as tourism or if it should be categorized as something else. We'll see if we can come to a conclusion in the next episode. Nicholas, thank you very much for being here. It's a difficult subject, but I thank you for trying to tackle it with me. We'll be back tomorrow night. We'll be talking some more about this subject. Concentration camps, are they tourism, or are they, is it possible that they can be tourism, or is it a totally different experience and needs a totally different set of criteria to be aware of? You're looking good. See you tomorrow night.